Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Surviving Infidelity and it's by user Phoenix Original. Caught my wife having an affair with her boss. I recently discovered that my wife of 5 years and partner of 8 years has been having an affair with her boss. We have 2 children together and I'm completely at a loss of what to do. She is military, so we have all of our healthcare through her. I'm terrified of losing all of our benefits, but I can't forgive what I found on her phone when I went through it. The person she got caught on isn't the only guy she was talking to and flirting with. There were 3 to 4 other men on her phone I found her flirting with. I know she deletes her messages, so there is more than I have been able to find. When I confronted her, she said she was going to end herself and is now in a psychiatric facility for 2 weeks, and I'm alone with the kids trying to handle everything on my own. I'm currently a full-time student and have been struggling with making and getting my assignments in on time and taking care of everything else. She keeps saying she is sorry and doesn't want to live without me, but I know she is still lying to me about things she doesn't know I have proof of. I'm just spiraling all over the place and haven't had a chance to process everything since confronting her last week, since I've been taking care of the kids. I don't know what to do. A voice in my head just keeps telling me I never should have confronted her. Another keeps telling me I should just try to move on. And another is telling me I can never forgive someone who hurt me like this. I don't know what to do and I just need support or advice. I want to be strong enough to leave, but I'm so afraid. First of all, OP, I'm so sorry that you're having to go through this. Your wife definitely sucks. But all those voices that are in your head, you should just listen to the one that's telling you to go to a lawyer and ask for help. It doesn't matter what she's claiming. Anything she says right now is a potential lie and a form of manipulation, particularly what she said to get into that psych ward. You don't deserve that crap. Of course, I understand that a huge change in your life right now, considering everything that you need to do, sounds incredibly scary. But for the sake of you and your children, you just can't stay in that relationship. I mean, apart from being a cheater, you know for a fact that she's a proven liar, so you just cannot trust a single word of what she says. So the first thing I'd do is secure all my documents and secure the financial information. I understand that you're a full-time student and you apparently run the household, which makes me assume that you're dependent on her. This is all information that I think your lawyer might need. And what do you guys think about OP's situation? What is your advice? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Artichoke Savings 9472 says, she's lying she can't live without you until she has another place to go. There's way more going on than you would like to know. Take care of yourself, breathe. The processing will take a long time. What you need to remember is that what she did is wrong, very wrong. Cheating is never acceptable. Do not tolerate that crap far into therapy. Take care of yourself, stay strong, be the best father you can be. And OP responds, I'm trying to be. When I asked her if the rumors of her being in love with the guy was true, she said no, and that the guy told her he had no interest in having a relationship. Purple Rain 0123 says, sounds like your wife's attempt to off herself is a manipulation tactic. Instead of taking accountability for their own actions, cheaters love to play the victim. My advice to you would be to apply the Grey Rock method to your wife and anyone who sides with your wife. Good luck, OP. And Equivalent B886 says, your wife sounds like a serial cheater and is only upset that she got caught. Take your proof and go see an attorney. He will best advise you on how to handle the situation. Based on what you have said, I would not take your wife back because she will only cheat again and will get better at doing it. Your children and you deserve to be in a happy home. Listen to your attorney and follow his instructions. Remember to bring him proof of the cheating. Update us. And OP responds, I think I'll contact him tomorrow. Thank you. Additional information from OP's comments. I'm 2 classes from finishing my master's and I need the housing payment to keep up with the bills. I'm former military and using my GI Bill. I wasn't working though because I wanted to support her effing career. All those times she stayed late at work and left me to take care of the kids alone, now I know why. The worst part is she got diagnosed with a serious medical condition 2 years ago, and I stayed by her the whole time. She was going to be medically retired from the military in a few months and now is going to lose it all and all the benefits for our family. I really thought she was the love of my life and I did everything so I could be the world's best husband, and it just wasn't enough. I've known about her affair for months and didn't confront her because I only found flirty messages and never any proof. I only had what the investigators on the base had told me, which was all second and third hand information. They called me 2 months ago and told me everything. I'm currently destroying his life. He is an officer and she is enlisted, and that's a big deal. I turned over my recording of her confessing to having sex with him to the investigators. They have both been arrested. Her boss is single, so there isn't another person being hurt. I asked her if she loved him when I confronted her, and she told me, "No, he isn't interested in a relationship, it was just physical." This effing guy lives in my neighborhood, he's like 2 blocks over. Apparently, she was bragging to a new co-worker about going out for walks to trick me and meet up at his house and have sex, and that new co-worker is who reported him in the first place. I have no idea who the person who reported them was. All I know is it was a new person in her office. I want to find them and tell them thank you for being so brave to go against their commander and do the right thing. Maybe someday I'll find out who, but for right now, because of the investigation, they are considered a protected individual and I can't know, which makes sense. Thankfully, this person also recorded their conversations in their office, so my spouse is super effed. She will likely be kicked out, losing her medical benefits. That's one of the hardest parts. What worries me is that because this dude is supposed to retire in 3 months, they might just let his ass go to save the publicity. I hope they nail his ass to the wall because there's no way this is the first time. What I'm told by the investigators is that her and the boss planned on running away together, but they hadn't heard anything about the kids. I'm the primary caregiver and have been for most of the relationship. What really pisses me off is that she really chose another guy who just wanted to use her for sex over our kids, our home, our lives, her career, and me. I talked to a few lawyers, and the one I went with told me it really comes down to how much she fights everything and how bad the punishment is going to be for her. Thankfully, he does a lot of military divorces because we live near the base. He seems like a great lawyer, just really expensive. I want to divorce her, but I'm terrified of being alone with the kids and losing all the benefits. My lawyer hasn't reached out to hers yet because I haven't filed. I wanted to do it amicably and try to save some money. She said she would give up the house and everything, but I don't know if I can believe it honestly. Thankfully, I've already done both tests and both my children are mine. I'm waiting for the STD panel results and should have them in a few days. I'll be contacting my lawyer in the next few days and moving forward with the divorce paperwork after everything everyone is telling me. Alright, so it sounds like the community was pretty helpful from OP, not just by the comments and the advice, but because of OP's responses. In the additional context, we were able to piece together the most important parts of OP's story. The fact that the kids are his, the fact that he was able to aid the investigation that let him know about the affair and all that stuff. But most importantly, the fact that he's already talking to a lawyer and he's ready to file for divorce. So now let's move on to the update to see what happened next. I just wanted to update everyone since this community has been extremely supportive and I've had a few people reach out. Before my wife had checked into the psychiatric hospital, we had talked about doing things amicably and even going to counseling to try and save our marriage. She was released this week on Wednesday, but had for the week prior gone radio silent. No calls to check on the kids, no calls to check on me or anything else. When she finally did call, it was a brief 2-minute phone call where she asked if she got anything in the mail, and when I said no, she hung up. That, for me, was what finally set me over the edge. I just kept thinking, I'm out here trying to take care of all our bills, watch where I'm spending money, cut back on non-essentials, get the kids to their extracurricular activities, and figure out how I'm going to survive because I was the full-time student and stay-at-home parent. Meanwhile, she is just doing whatever and her boss is down the street just cozy in bed, not worried about what they did to my children's and my own lives. So I contacted my attorney and told him to start the paperwork, and I wanted primary custody, child support, and the house. He told me I had an extremely strong case, and after a nice retainer of $10,000, I started down the divorce road. When my wife was released from the hospital, she came back to the house and we had a long talk about our relationship and moving forward. I told her if she was serious about reconciling, then she needed to prove to me she was willing to put some skin in the game. From all accounts I've heard, she was planning on screwing me in divorce court in a couple of months if she hadn't been caught and running off with this guy. I let her know I was told as much and told her, from my perspective, you were planning on hurting me as much as you could, but the dice didn't roll in your favor and now you're looking for the security because you are in serious trouble. I don't think she is truly remorseful either. She tried to manipulate me into feeling sorry for her the other night. She crawled into bed in the middle of the night and said, "I miss feeling safe in your arms. I just want to lay here all night. Tell me you'll always protect me." I told her to find an apartment and we have 60 days for divorce to be finalized in our state. We could try marriage counseling, but I need to protect myself so I can be the best dad possible for my children. If she wanted to fix things, she needed to show me that she wasn't planning on ruining my life and give me the space that I need to heal. Maybe somewhere down the road, therapy can fix things internally for me and possibly between us, but for right now, I know she is still withholding information and she is still lying. She has no idea the level of evidence the investigators have on them. But they are so screwed, it's not even funny. Knowing what I know about how she got caught is what makes it easier to be strong about the divorce. Also, I'm glad that I have screenshots of everything. As it currently stands, I have roughly 200 pictures and 30 to 40 recordings of her affairs. I'm hoping she doesn't fight to save us all the trouble, but I'm sure she will. I'm always recording when she's around now. I don't trust her not to try some crap. I held her hand when she was sick and needed infusions at the hospital. I carried her to bed on the nights she was in too much pain to walk, and it wasn't enough for her. She chose what she did, and now she is dealing with the consequences. Her family came out to watch her for a few days when she got released, and they are obviously taking her side with things. She either manipulated them, or more likely the entire family is just ethically bankrupt. When the process server gave her the paperwork, she tried taking the kids, but I told her she couldn't. Her sister had the nerve to say, "How could you do this to her?" when she got served. I just shut that crap down and told her I must have missed the part where in my marriage vows it said she could F whoever she wanted without consequence. Her family tried blaming me and telling me I was messed up for doing this, but I told them I had a right to react how I chose in response to what she did. She took pretty much everything of hers from the house and left last night, and it's been radio silent since. She's playing the victim, and even though nothing says she can't talk to me, she isn't. She is telling people I took the kids from her, and she wasn't allowed at the birthday party today for my son, even though I said she was. I even told her family that I could bring the kids by to see her, and they all ghosted me. The level of petty and manipulation towards the kids is insane. I'm not trying to take my children's mother away from them, but she sure is trying to make it seem that way. I remember something my therapist told me when she gets like this. It's easier for her to justify what she did if you are the bad guy. Pretty interesting how she always leaves out the reason I initiated the divorce is because she got caught having a physical affair with her boss. As far as the kids go, they were kept mostly out of the way watching a movie while she packed. They don't really understand what's going on yet because they are young, 3 and 5. For the last 2 weeks, Mom was at the doctor since she always had medical appointments anyway. Today, she is at her sister's house, but that answer won't work forever. I wish she had stopped to think about what she was going to do to the kids before she decided to sleep with her boss, because I have no idea how to explain to my kids that mom and dad can't live together anymore. I always made sure my kids knew my wife was the love of my life. When my daughter said, "Mommy is your true love, you are going to be with her forever and ever," the other day, I started crying in the car. I'm writing this as my kids play with their toys in the other room. My assignments have all been turned in on time. I'm still holding a 4.0 GPA. The laundry is almost done. The dishes are drying and dinner is already set for tonight. I made every practice for them in the last 2 weeks, and I've kept the house clean and even found some time for myself last Friday night. I don't know who will read this message, but I just wanted to tell you it can be done. I have no idea how I'm going to make it moving forward, but I'm going to. I think I'll survive better than she will, but man, it's hard not to be vindictive. I want her to hurt like she hurt me. I want her to face the consequences of what she did, and I want her to hate her choice for the rest of her life, but none of that is good for me. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I learned a long time ago that there was never a fight I walked away from that didn't hurt, even the ones that I won. I loved a lie. I'm glad I see it now. I hope in the future I'll find some love that is the truth and be able to show my kids what love really looks like. To all the beautiful people who messaged me when I needed it, and the people who took time out of their nights the last few weeks to help me when I was a mess of anger, grief, and depression, thank you. The people here gave me the push I needed to stand up for myself and not accept living in hell to stay with someone who only loved the things I provided for them and never me. I'll leave this post with some of the best advice I've gotten in the last 2 weeks. You are not in love with her. You are in love with a lie she showed you to get what she wanted. Take the time to grieve the loss of the relationship. The person you thought you knew is gone, and it's okay to not be okay about that. Better to face the poison today on your own terms than it is to hide from it and let it slowly kill you for the rest of your life. Well, OP, considering all the pain that you're going through and everything that's going on in your life, it sounds like you have a good grasp of things and are on your way on getting through this. So here's wishing everything goes well for you in the divorce and that you and your kids have a great future. Take care, OP, and thank you for sharing. Now, let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user Exe the Hero. Male staff must wear dress shoes or boots, smiley face. The superintendent of my old school was comically rigid in his views and seemed to have his mindset stuck in the 1960s. He told us, without a hint of irony, that the only way students would respect us is if we were dressed professionally. Not even business casual was okay for him. Faculty wearing sneakers or blue jeans was a legitimate cause for termination under our contract. The male staff dress code demanded that we wear long-sleeve button-up shirt with a tie, dress pants with a belt, and dress shoes or boots every day. There was, however, a note in our contract stating that the dress code could be reasonably relaxed, if not possible due to a medical condition. No details were provided beyond that. Well, my wife and I moved apartments one weekend and my feet hurt, so I made the executive decision that that was a medical condition and wore my sneakers to school on Monday. I figured I could just lay low and keep my feet hidden from any pesky administrators, and I knew that my students wouldn't care. My students, in fact, thought it was awesome that part of my appearance was that of a real person, lol. Wouldn't you know it, that was the day the superintendent and building administrators were coming around room by room to give the school board members a building tour. So of course I had to get up and greet them. Nobody said anything to me, but I did receive a nasty email from the assistant principal with CC to the principal and superintendent reminding me of the expectations set forth in the teacher dress code. No note on my file or anything, just a warning. Fair enough, I suppose, but it pissed me off that they didn't even ask why I decided to wear sneakers and just sent me a warning with no chance to defend myself. So, cue the malicious compliance. If you noticed from the post title, the dress code just says dress shoes and boots. Well, are you familiar with demonia boots? I went ahead and bought the most over-the-top bombastic pair of boots on their website. I'm talking black leather with 3-inch platforms, chains, studs, zippers, and straps galore. They came about halfway up my shins, and of course I tucked my pants into them. My students thought they were amazing, and there are pictures of my feet all over various social media sites. A few of my co-workers took it upon themselves to give me a stern warning, and some others gave me a high five. After 4 days of wearing these boots with no incident, the principal ended up behind me in the hallway. Rather quickly he asked, "What the hell are those?" So I told him they were boots to ensure that I'm in compliance with the dress code, and kept walking. That afternoon, I received an email from him stating that I was intentionally being unprofessional and this would be documented in my record, and further dress code offenses would lead to disciplinary action or suspension. I immediately got in touch with my union, who quickly dealt with that in my favor, since they were indeed boots. I also explained to the union that I only did this because of the nasty email I received for wearing sneakers with my sore feet. The union rep immediately smirked, told me she was unfamiliar with that rule, and told me to go ahead and wear whatever footwear I wanted, and that if anybody had a problem, I could just claim I had sore feet. Long story short, I ended up wearing my sneakers every single day for the entire rest of the school year and never had another problem. My favorite part of this is that I inspired a few other rebels, and by the time I left that school, there were a solid 10 of us that were just routinely wearing sneakers or other non-dress code compliant footwear in blatant disregard of the dress code every single day. Good times. Definitely a legacy that I left behind in that school. Smiley face. Well, OP, you were absolutely right. Boots were part of the dress code and you made it happen. Thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.